Samujjal Bhattacharya is the advisor of the All Assam Student Union. Also with us today is the Chief Managing Editor of News Live, Zarir Hussain, who's been broadcasting on this story for the last 24 hours. Sheshadri Chari is convener of the Foreign Affairs Cell of the BJP. He is closely associated with the Northeast. RSN Singh has been formerly with the RAW. And Kirip Chaliha is a senior leader and former member of Parliament of the Congress Party. Thank you very much, Mr. Chaliha, and to all the others. Gaurav Gogoi should be joining us in about 10 minutes. Zarir, was this avoidable or not? Today, all through the day, nobody is taking responsibility. Was this avoidable or not? Because the question is in a different context. The question is in a specific context, which Mr. Sheshadri Chari should have to answer later, that if there would have been information of a terrorist attack in Mumbai to be carried out by a terror group which would have been named, even the possible likely victims would have been targeted, then the government would have had to do everything to stop that incident from happening. In Assam, a similar situation, you know which terror group is there, you know who the likely victims are, you have the information, and yet nothing was done. Is that right, Zarir?
Absolutely. This is not the first instance where responsibility has never been accepted or never been acknowledged. In fact, we understand that the Intelligence Bureau intercepted some mobile communications from one of the NDFB leaders at 12:40 yesterday, and that message was communicated to the state agencies around 2 in the afternoon yesterday, and the whole massacre took place around 5. It started around 5, so full 3 hours. So this speaks volumes about the state of affairs in Assam. So this is, as I said, this is not the first instance. The Assam DGP, the police chief, has gone on record at least a week back that starting from Christmas Day, that is the December 25th, until Republic Day, the NDFB, this Sangbijit faction will carry out bloodshed in Assam. He has gone on record saying that they are planning large-scale massacre. But the moot point is, even after all these intelligence inputs, why did the agencies, why is the security establishment set up failed to prevent this barbaric massacre? That is the main question. And
Yes. No, please continue, Zarir. The camera moved away, but please continue.
Yeah, and the most surprising, shocking thing, as you have shown rightly on that, the picture of Jitesh Khosla, the chief secretary, the topmost bureaucrat, he said, he was at the Kaziranga National Park on an elephant safari. That also speaks volume. It is outrageous, it's shameless act, because the top bureaucrat of the state, the incident happened last night, and at that point in time, we had reported the whole night till midnight that more than 50 people have died. And this morning, that gentleman has the audacity to go for an elephant ride in full public view with television crews filming him. Is this not outrageous? So, and the chief minister was point blank asked by journalists, and he simply brushed aside, saying that, okay, this is not acceptable. But the point is, has anybody been made accountable? Has had rolled? These are the moot questions. On and off, in this year, this is the second biggest massacre. But what? Have we heard anybody been suspended or action been taken? No. Couple of transfers, that is it. So this is shocking, and as you rightly said, there is no end to this, and you are putting on the scroll 72 killed. Please correct it. It is 75, because 3 more dead bodies have just been recovered in Kokrajhar. And for your information, these 3 are Bodos. That means retaliatory attacks have already taken place. A lot of Adivasis have started retaliatory attacks on Bodos, and the death toll is 75, and 3 more Bodos bodies have been just recovered in Kokrajhar district, and we are getting reports that lot of Bodo houses were set ablaze. So you will see this vicious cycle of violence continuing, because as as night sets in, there will be more violence. And we have seen visuals coming in from my reporters that the people who are sheltered in relief camps, not in relief camps, they are under open sky, taking shelter in school verandas with no food, with no warm clothing. They have just run away from their homes. There's massive exodus. Thousands of people have fled in panic, but there is no security. And the Director General of Police has gone on record few hours back saying that the massacre took place because there are no police stations in and around that area, and police were not able to reach those places. These are stark realities, Arnab. These are stark realities from the ground. We have about 20 reporters from the field reporting to us, giving us minute-by-minute account. And as I speak to you, I am getting calls, I am getting SMSs that there has been firing, there has been incidents of house burning. These are coming in as I speak to you at this point in time, Arnab.
Well, I mean, I just want to put it in a as clear and direct a way. And by the way, Zarir, I must thank you for that very incisive and exhaustive, description that you've given out here, right on top of the Newshour tonight of the situation there in Assam. This description that Zarir Hussain has given should reach the hearts of the people who rule in Delhi, because Sheshadri Chari, you can't today, where is the joint session of Parliament on what has happened in Assam? Why is there not a sense of trepidation at what's happened in Assam? You have ethnic conflict, you have a terrorist massacre, right? And you have a refugee situation. All three are happening together, and you have a completely incompetent government, an incompetent state administration. There isn't even 1 minute of mourning, leave alone any realization that we are dealing with a serious humanitarian situation in the Northeast. Is the Northeast just not a priority anymore, Sheshadri Chari, for as much for your government as for previous Congress governments?
Arnab, it is very easy to say that the central government has done nothing. But before you start blaming the central government, you should realize the gravity of the situation. Central government has had information on.
Well, I think one second. I think I just lost the line there with Sheshadri Chari, who was just beginning to describe why we should not blame the central government. Is it possible to let the central government off the hook on this one, RSN Singh? Let me ask you, is it purely a state government issue, RSN Singh?
No, not at all. You must remember that Northeast shares only 2% of its boundary with the rest of India. So it is a very, very tenuous link, and just, if I may say so, just carry out an exercise. See how many escapees are here from Northeast. I am talking about the official DOM. You see it in RNW, IB, or any of these NTR, or any of these organizations, or ITBP. You will find all mostly escapees from the Northeast. So this is, I mean, can you imagine police officers paying hafta to the Naga insurgents? So you have not reclaimed these areas, and even if you have reclaimed it, it is a very tenuous kind of a reclamation. So therefore, you are asking for such a situation to develop. With so many escapees and with this kind of an attitude, I don't say.
What do you mean escapees? Sorry, I don't mean. What do you mean escapees? I don't understand your terminology there.
Escapees, people who belong to the Northeast cadre, they detest being, belonging to that cadre, and bend all rule books, use all leverages to be posted to Delhi in various central intelligence and other organizations. So you can carry out an exercise. And who all are there? Why don't you, ask all these agencies to give you a list as to how many of
what
these
impact does that have on this situation? No, what relevance does that have in the context of the ongoing terrorist situation in Assam and in other states of the Northeast?
The impact is that when you have people absenting themselves, or not absenting themselves, absconding their sense of duty, then you will have all the inefficient guys there. handling the situation, and that is what is happening in Northeast.
Okay, so that's one point. No, that's one point. It can't be all. No, it's one point, RSN Singh. It can't be the entire point. It's a valid point. You are saying that the good intelligence officers don't want to be in the Northeast. Now I have Sheshadri Chari back.
No.
My question to him was, no, 1 second. RSN Singh, please, let's not make it an entire issue about the way the intelligence apparatus is structured or not structured. I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you, Mr. Singh. Mr. Singh, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. My question to Sheshadri Chari is, serious sense of long-term commitment is not there vis-a-vis the Northeast when it comes to successive central governments. Why do you disagree with that?
No, I totally disagree with you as far as the present government is concerned. There are certain things that I am not privy to tell you on a television as of now. But I can tell you that we have appointed one of the senior most IB officers to look after the entire Northeast situation. And on the basis of the inputs that that person has given to the National Security Advisor and to the Home Minister, we have alerted not only the rest of India but all the state governments in the Northeast. This alert has gone long back. Some of the state governments have taken notice of this and they have effectively blocked some of the operations. But very unfortunately, more than the state governments, the terrorist organizations have got counter-intelligence on the state of affairs, especially in Assam. These terrorist organizations know of the fact that there is a political ramifications going on within the Assam cabinet. They know that there is a move to weaken the chief minister. They also know of when the chief secretary is going on leave. They also know of the lack of preparedness on the part of the Assam government. All these things have been reported. And on the basis of this...
So you are saying the terrorist groups are smarter than you? No, 1 second. So what you are saying is that the terrorist groups are smarter than you?
Absolutely.
And you are... No, so it's a big admission. Terrorist groups are smarter than you, and B, there has been politics. There is politics over it. So essentially you would admit you have failed. What is the use of all your intelligence, sir, if you can't implement anything on the ground?
No, it is not the central government. Arnab Goswami, listen to me first. I am not talking of the central government. I am talking of the state government here.
So if the state government fails... No, Mr. Sheshadri Chari, my counter question to you is, if the state government fails, which you know, if they lack the apparatus, which you know, if there is politics on the ground, which you know, then the intelligence which you are providing is ineffective, then why don't you go there and take over the situation? Take over the situation, be more proactive. Why complain now that the intelligence apparatus was not used?
We cannot. Arnab Goswami, you should know how the government functions and how the intelligence...
I am very well aware of how the government functions, but you know how serious the situation is.
Areas.
You know how serious the situation is.
The central government cannot go to 200 areas in this country. It is absolutely on the radar of the state governments. It is a total and abject failure of the state government.
Then you be direct with me. Then you be direct with me, Sheshadri Chari. You tell me and I will ask Kirip Chaliha to respond.
Yes, I am being very direct with you.
No, I'll get Kirip Chaliha to respond. 1 second.
Ask all those people, ask Arnab Goswami, ask all those people who have been talking to the central government, not only this government, the earlier government also, about human rights violations by the police and the army. Ask those people who have been demanding removal of armed forces separate powers. Ask those people why are they silent now and today? It is a cumulative effect of all these things.
Mr. Chari, I began the Newshour by saying, so I repeat, maybe you didn't hear me. I began the Newshour by saying there is a chatterati and a chattering class in Lutyens, Delhi that will even defend Pakistan but have no time to talk about the problems in the Northeast. So I will certainly ask that question without trepidation, and that chatterati has no time for the Northeast. My question is to Kirip Chaliha. Kirip Chaliha, you're a senior Congress leader. You hear Sheshadri Chari there. Sheshadri Chari says there's politics and political reasons why you can't tackle this problem. The same kind of politics perhaps why people like Hiteshwar Saikia from your party in the past, in the 90s, stood up on the floor of the Assam Assembly and says there is not a single Bangladeshi in Assam. Today the problems that are there in Assam are as much a result of illegal infiltration from Bangladesh as anything else. today, will you admit that Sheshadri Chari is right, that for political reasons, the Congress government in Assam is ineffective vis-a-vis the multiple terror groups that operate within your own state?
Arnab, I think this is the umpteenth number of time I'm again coming to Times Now on the issue of ethnic violence. You know, these violences occur quite frequently, and people like us get the opportunity of speaking things in the television, national television channel, and also your channel. Unfortunately, in the discussions, we find, as usual, a total lack of knowledge about the ground situation in the Northeast. They hardly analyze the problems. They pass very, very casual remarks, I'd say, light remarks. Some go for blame games. Some go for their own short-sighted assessments. Unfortunately, as you said, these do not solve our problem. My considered view is the insurgency, so-called insurgency that is among the Bodo militants. The fundamental point is it's a very small group of people according to the police statement. The DGP himself said that Sangbijit group, that is the group who is being held responsible for the massacre today, comprises only about 200 odd militants. Now my simple question is, these people have been committing murders, massacres after massacres. Why have they not been apprehended?
It's your government.
I'm not excusing.
It's a Congress government. You should ask Zarir Gogoi.
I am saying I'm not excusing myself or my government for that. But the point is, if people like, I would not like to join issues with Mr. Sheshadri Chari also.
No, please do.
I know he's a good friend of mine and he's a very sincere man. But let me tell you, yes, there is definitely lack of political will. There is definitely lack of policy. There is an absence of policy, a policy failure, a police failure, an administrative failure, and also a failure of understanding. And we have been victims. And the fact is, it's not a question of Assam or Northeast. The fact is, there are only ordinary poor Adivasis, whose children and whose women and whose helpless people are being killed. Does that disturb any of us?
Well, it surely disturbs a lot of us. Mr. Chaliha, why would you say it doesn't disturb? If it were not something to disturb us, why would we spend time talking about it on this channel? It certainly disturbs us.
Arnab, this has been going on. This has been going on repeatedly. We come for discussions, we make noises, but there has not been any tangible decisions in this matter.
Who has to take the decision to do the crackdown?
We have to solve this problem.
If you say, I'll say primarily even my own state government. Even your own state government?
Yes, primarily my own state government. I would say, yes, the paramilitary forces. I would say the army. How come 200 odd people go on killing people after people like this? Once they'll go after the minorities, now they'll go after the Adivasis. And let me tell you, there is total lack of security in the entire area. And there are some people who politicize. Kindly ask some people who took the support of the NDFBS in the last parliament election.
Name them.
Me, who was a Congress candidate in that area.
Name them. Who took the support of the terrorists? Let's name them.
Quite obvious. See.
No, name them. I want you to name them on national television. Name them. We need to know who.
Everybody in Assam knows who supported, which party NDFBS supported in the last election. But I don't want to comment on that.
Why don't you want to comment on it? Reveal the names of people who take the support of terrorists to win elections.
See, that has been going on for quite some time. Everybody knows it, Arnab. Even you know it. Why don't you name it? Everybody knows it, Assam. I'm not going to that. I am saying we lack the political will to fight militants. We lionize them. We call them extremists or insurgents. They are dacoits. They are people who has got no understanding. They are simple extortionists who are surviving on human blood by selling human blood and collecting money. There should be.
Sir, Mr. Chaliha.
When I say zero tolerance, zero tolerance.
Well, okay, Mr. Chaliha, zero tolerance is fine. Fantastic. Zero tolerance is fine. You tell me today, have people not taken the support of the ULFA to win elections in Assam? Have people not taken the support of Bodo terrorists to win elections in Assam?
Yes.
Do the Karbi terrorists not support certain political groups in Assam? And today I ask you, for God's sake,
I agree with you.
You agree with me, then I'm asking you today, then it's become a situation of political convenience. You realize, Sheshadri Chari, how serious the situation is. Whatever the problems of the northeastern part of India are today, are because...
Unfortunately, Arnab, when we play with fire, this fire will burn you as well, me as well, burn everybody. That is what is happening now. And I don't want to be apologetic about it. I don't want to give excuses. Because when you give excuse, you accuse yourself. I believe in that. And I'm very unhappy. That's why there is outburst.
Well, I'm sure you are, but you're from the Congress party and the Chief Minister is responsible to a certain extent. I'd like to get Samujjal Bhattacharya.
The political class.
I'd like to get some... No, not the entire political class. Let's name and shame those politicians who do that. Samujjal Bhattacharya, is it enough to blame the centre alone? Or have politicians in the northeast also played footsie with terrorist groups in the past?
Yeah, I'd like to submit 3 points. Number one, we are condemning the barbaric killing by the NDFBS group. They have killed the children, women and innocent people. We are condemning that. We cannot support this type of barbaric killing. Number two, the Assam government, the Chief Minister Gaurav Gogoi led Assam government had the information that this incident will occur. They had the intelligence input, but the Assam government had failed miserably to protect the life and property of the innocent people. Assam government had the information, but they had failed miserably. I would like to repeat that Assam Chief Minister Gaurav Gogoi had failed miserably to prevent this violence. Number three, it is squarely the responsibility of the Assam government to prevent this violence. Now there is no security of the life and people of Assam, and the Assam government has no existence. There is no existence of the Assam government. Number three, what is the policy of the central government towards Assam and northeastern region? If it happens in Delhi, UP or Gujarat, what would have been the policy of the central government? And what is the short-term and long-term policy of the central government? There is no long-term policy towards the Assam and northeastern region. What is the long-term strategy of the central government towards solution of this insurgency problem? Is there any policy to solve this Assam's insurgency problem, Nagaland insurgency problem, Manipur insurgency problem? Is there any long-term strategy on the part of the government? Or always there will be a piecemeal solution, short-term solution. We cannot accept this type of strategy on the part of the government.
Both.
Yes,
let's debate both.
Situation.
No, let's debate both.
Yeah.
Let's debate both, Samujjal Bhattacharya.
Yes,
no, 1 second. This is a fantastic opportunity.
Exactly.
This is an opportunity. Yeah. Let's debate both. Let us ask Sheshadri Chari whether they have a long-term solution. Because he says, don't be unfair, we do.
May I come in here, please?
No, 1 second. No, 1 minute, Mr. RSN. And let's ask Gaurav Gogoi about how many times the state government of Assam will fail. You had all the information. There was a warning from this specific group about retaliatory attacks, Gaurav Gogoi, but the Chief Minister, your father, at a press conference yesterday brushed them aside saying, I don't care about such things. Is this any response? I don't care about such things. You know the information existed.
Arnab, what happened last night when so many innocent children have been lost their lives? I have seen pictures where women were cradling their babies as they've been shot by these terrorist groups. What has happened last night is the most inhumane, most mindless
Mr. Gogoi, we needed, no, it's inhumane, we don't need a reaffirmation of that from you.
Please let me continue. No. Please let me continue.
I'm asking you about your inaction. Everybody on the panel, Zarir Hussain, Samujjal Bhattacharya, is asking you about your inaction.
The central government has condemned it. Prime Minister Narendra Singh Modi has
condemnations mean nothing. Condemnations, you can throw condemnations. Condemnations don't help.
Has condemned it.
Condemnations don't help. Are you in power to condemn?
Right now?
No, are you in power to condemn? Is this the job of a state government to condemn?
Bring back law and order. Additional paramilitary forces have been rushed in. Army has been rushed in. Police have been rushed in.
Don't tell me who has been rushed in. Mr. Gogoi, what are you talking about?
I tell you what is required.
What are you talking about? People have been rushed in.
So, terrorist groups. These terrorist groups, they come in, they fire upon civilians in Assam indiscriminately.
Do you think I don't know that?
Back to the hills of Arunachal Pradesh. They retreat back to the hills of Arnab.
You think I don't know that? You're teaching me?
Go back to the bases in Myanmar to get their supplies replenished. Then why don't we have a national counter-terrorism strategy?
Oh my God, that's so utterly disgraceful.
Center in this government. We need to have a strategy. Our state government needs to work with its neighboring states. Needs to be working in tandem with the central government.
Mr. Gogoi, may I please?
Do you know, is Assam the only state which is affected by violence? No. It's
Sheshadri Chari.
Nagaland,
Okay, have you finished your speech?
Jammu Kashmir, left-wing extremist areas.
Have you finished? Gaurav, please stop. Gaurav, please stop for a minute. Please stop. Hesitate.
We need a national
Please stop.
counter-terrorism strategy.
Okay, now 1 minute. First of all, Gaurav Gogoi, I'm telling you, on the Newshour, we have a rule. Specific questions, specific answers. Did I ask you about the need to have a counter-terrorism strategy? No. Was that the question, Zarir, that I put to him? Zarir, was that the question I put at Gaurav Gogoi? No.
Only your questions happen.
No, of course. Yes, on my show, you have to answer my questions. You can't answer your own questions. My question was whether you could have prevented the attack.
You're the master.
My question is whether you could have prevented the attack, right, Gaurav? The question is the Congress government in Assam, even Kirip Chaliha is on the program today. Even he is blaming you. The Congress government was in a position to prevent the attack, but it failed to do so. There were intelligence inputs about retaliatory attacks by Bodo terrorists. If you had the inputs, why didn't you act? That's the question, right, Gaurav?
I agree with you. I agree with you that they are lapses on the part of the state government. Why in these remote areas
lapses? You call this a lapse?
For the police
75 people die. All you can do is call it a lapse.
I agree with you. But I also want to ask that why can't we arrest those militants now that they've retreated back into the hills of Arunachal Pradesh? Now how do we arrest them? We need the efforts of our neighboring state governments and we need the efforts of our central government to apprehend those who are behind it.
You know something, I think Sheshadri Chari can respond to you better. Sheshadri Chari. Zarir Hussain, I feel Gaurav Gogoi representing the Congress. Yes, no, Sheshadri Chari.
This issue has been brought to the central government's table time and again. And even the UPA government, the earlier UPA government was seized of these issues. At that time also, there was a meeting and there was a Northeast Council meeting also, and some of the top intelligence officers from the Northeast were called together, and I'm privy to certain information. They had all suggested that the militant groups have the support of certain political factions. Please carefully listen to my words. There are political factions within the states in the Northeast, and there are militant groups who support. As somebody very rightly pointed out, there are some groups are 200 men and some groups have got, I think even this Bodoland group has more than 1,500 people, that's all. But the issue is, if the central government decides to take a very strong action today, I can recommend that we dismiss the state government of Assam.
Oh, yes.
We dismiss
tomorrow. Why? Why would you think that's important? Are
they ready to face the consequences?
Why would you say the need is there to dismiss? If you want to take tough action, may I ask you a counter question, Sheshadri Chari, since you are leading on to something. Why are you saying if you need to take tough action, first the Tarun Gogoi government will have to go? Why are you saying that? Then we'll get Gaurav Gogoi to respond. Why are you saying that?
That is because the Tarun Gogoi government will not allow the central government to take certain actions in their state.
Why? Why,
Sheshadri? For that?
Why, Sheshadri Chari?
They will not.
Why won't they?
Because they will make it a political issue.
Why will they make it a political issue? Why?
There is a serious political problem going on in Assam. Arnab, don't forget, there is a serious political problem going on in Assam.
Unsubstantiated facts.
No, what unsubstantiated facts? You first. Well, what's unsubstantiated about those facts? You know, he's hinting at something. He's hinting at something.
You have. No.
I
completely disagree.
Arnab, can I come in?
No. What's it? Kirip Chaliha, please responding to Sheshadri Chari.
Would you let me?
Yes, Kirip Chaliha, please.
Let me say.
Yeah. Now, I think I'll have to be a little blunt. You know, I have been very restrained, and I was not answering to Sheshadri ji for quite some time. I mean, the kind of allusions that he's making, and the astoundingly
foolish, I'll say, using a very light word, to say that to control 200 odd extremist massacres, criminals, you need to dismiss a government, impose presidential, this kind of attitude, this kind of strategy. God save the king, God save Assam.
It's not so
but let me tell
simple.
you, if
No, it is not the question of just 200 people. It is not the question of 200 people.
I'm talking about this 200.
It is a much serious trouble. There are more than.
Let me tell you, Samvedi group has got no.
There are more than 18. There are more than 18 terrorist organizations in Assam.
Allow me to finish.
There are more than 18 terrorist organizations in Assam. Can the state government guarantee that they will take action in the next 48 hours? Can the state government guarantee that they will take action within the next 48 hours?
Listen, 200 people has been taking...
I don't have to listen to you. You listen to me. You answer my question.
These are facts.
You answer my question. What is the state government's plan to take action? Does the state government have a plan to take any action? Does the state government have any plan to take any action? What is the state government's plan?
Can I respond?
They are talking about lapses?
Can I respond?
They are talking about lapses?
Can I respond?
The chief secretary has gone on a leave. The chief minister is not issuing a statement.
Can I answer you now?
What is the state government's plan? Please tell me.
You can answer, Mr. Chaliha. No, Mr. Chaliha, sure you can answer. But the bottom line, can I just add one thing to you? No, one second. I will give you full time to answer, but I want to just make a fundamental point. Sir, today, the separatist insurgency, the terrorism in Kashmir is a relatively recent phenomenon compared to what is going on in the northeast of India. Kashmir's problem starts in the late 80s. In Assam, Alpha has been on since 1979. The NDFB was formed in 1989 and now it is still a potent force. There is a Karbi Anglong Hills Federation which is active since 2003-2004. What Sheshadri Chari is asking you is one second, sir. Why do you, if these people are... So one second, Mr. Chaliha, one minute. Mr. Chaliha, 1 minute. After that you can answer. I'm saying if these people are so small, so insignificant, just 100 or 200 people, why don't you finish them off? I don't believe today that any terrorist group can exist without political support. I'm saying it. Without political support, these groups cannot exist.
Listen. Now, Arnab, without going into the details about the insurgency, history of insurgency in Northeast, I have fought Ulfa, I have lost my general secretaries, I have faced bullets, I have faced so much of opposition from Ulfa, we fought them on the ground. We are not speaking only on television, national televisions. But let me tell you, I am not talking about insurgency as a whole. Arnab, you remember, all the time these massacres have been taking place for the last 5 or 6 years, we have identified NDFBS as a prime killer. I am now into only this particular incident. 200 people. Do you mean to say that the Indian state machinery or the state machinery is so weak that you can't finish off 200 terrorists?
No, Sheshadri Chari says you don't want to.
I'm not against the point.
Sheshadri Chari says you don't want to.
One second.
Not that you can't, he says you don't want to.
1 second. Let me tell you, NDFBS has supported the BJP candidate in the last election against me. And
answer the charge. Answer the charge. Sheshadri Chari, he's now put it back at you. Now please answer him. He says the NDFBS, this particular terrorist group, has backed a BJP candidate against him. This is a very serious charge. Mr. Chari, you must answer this. You must answer this charge that Kirip Chaliha has now thrown directly at you. Mr. Sheshadri Chari.
I strongly refute it. This is an irresponsible statement. And there are two factions. One faction is called pro-tox faction and one faction is called the anti-tox faction. ATF and PTF. And both these ATF and PTF, all these factions have always held the BJP as enemy number one. Let me remind you this. They have strong linkages with local political parties. They don't have linkages with national party like the BJP. They have been festering on the divisions
1 second.
that exist between the state government and the political parties in those state governments. And I don't want to, I know the details of what is happening in Assam. If the Assam government and the Congress party in Assam does not stop this infighting among them, the consequences could be much more serious.
Okay, now I'd like to get in Zarir Hussain and Samujjal Bhattacharya. Zarir Hussain, no, what's it? Gaurav Gogoi wants to say something before that. Gaurav Gogoi. Gaurav Gogoi, after that, no, Gaurav Gogoi first and then Zarir Hussain. Yes, Gaurav.
Arnab, what Mr. Chari conveniently avoided is the article in a national newspaper, the Telegraph, which linked that a BJP party member in the Sonitpur district, in this very same district where this incident has taken place, has openly declared that he received the support of the NDFS faction. Will Mr. Chari respond to that?
Mr. Chari, for a second time on the Newshour tonight, the Congress leaders are accusing you of having links, your party of having links with these same terrorists who carried out the massacre.
It is wrong. It is wrong.
Prove the charge.
100% wrong.
Prove the charge, Gaurav.
Tell it to the people of Assam. Tell it to the people
I
of
can
Assam.
prove the
Nobody
charge.
will believe you.
Yes.
And I'll refrain from saying it.
I can prove the charge. You first bring the papers. You first bring the papers. You get the candidate.
It is in the Telegraph.
I know about Assam much more than what you know about it.
Insurgents.
You don't have to believe Telegraph.
Insurgents have
Telegraph is not the gospel word as far as I am concerned. Telegraph is not the gospel word as far as I am concerned. I am telling you about my party.
Give you something in writing. Terrorists.
I am telling you about my party. I know it.
You.
Well, you know, gentlemen.
You are justifying blindly.
I know about my party.
Gentlemen, you know, what I find very disturbing about this.
What you are
Mr.
saying
Chari,
is
Mr.
wrong.
Chari, may I please? You see, Mr. Chari, you see, what are we talking about tonight, Zarir? When we began the program, Zarir Hussain gave a, what I must say, a very, very descriptive, honest, and, you know, a very insightful account of what has happened in Assam. Now, we find ourselves in a situation where I'm forced to ask a question today, Zarir. If today there were proven or unproven or suspected links between any political party and any terrorist group in Kashmir, would the people of the country be quiet? No. Yet today in Assam, people openly talk about these things. Is it true that political parties have these links? And is politics basically the reason why this problem is festering in Assam? Zarir.
Absolutely. Like, you know, I was hearing Kirip Chaliha, Gaurav Gogoi and the BJP gentlemen, like, you know, trying to it is like the pot calling the kettle black, you know. It's absolutely all the political parties, be it BJP, Congress and be it any other parties, they at one point or the other, they have taken the support of either the Alpha or the NDFB, because all these leaders have gone on record on television shows that yes, on such and such year we supported this party, and such and such assembly election we supported that party.
How many political leaders have been investigated for that, Zarir?
Also at some absolutely nothing. And the most interesting part is that, like, you know, somebody was talking about dismissing the government. Kirip Chaliha I'd like to remind Kirip Chaliha or Gaurav Gogoi that in 1990, when the AGP was in power, AGP government first time, later part of their tenure, 7 or 8 T executives were kidnapped, and that very day, president's rule was imposed.
Yes.
Right? It was not a large-scale massacre like today. So, let me remind you, gentlemen, that things have taken place in Assam when the Congress regime had imposed president's rule. No, see, it's not finished. That is why I'm telling you, which party ruled the center for so long? Your party was at the center for so long. Were you able to formulate any counter-insurgency strategies, as Gaurav Gogoi was referring to? Who had stopped you? Who had stopped you, Kirip Chaliha? Who had stopped you, Gaurav Gogoi? All these years, counter-insurgency strategies. We don't want drawing board kind of, like, you know, strategies. It is all about political will. As long as political parties are hand in glove or in nexus with militant militant groups, this kind of mayhem will continue in Assam.
And
Nobody can stop it. I request
Sheshadri Chari.
How many columns of paramilitary, how many battalions of paramilitary forces you deploy? This will continue. This will continue as long as...
No, one
He
second.
asked me a question. He referred my name. You must allow me to respond.
No, I will allow you to answer, but I first want to ask Sheshadri Chari, please note down something, Sheshadri Chari. A BJP leader in the Sonitpur district of Assam, April 1st, 2014, in the run-up to the general election, stirs a hornet nest, I'm reading from the Telegraph, by claiming that the NDFB, Songbit and the Doimari factions have pledged support to him in the forthcoming general elections. This was put out in a news channel, and the two groups said they were dissatisfied with the Congress and had decided to support the BJP. In other words, terrorist groups are deciding who's going to win and who's going to lose an election. You should also be worried that they were dissatisfied with you. In other words, no, one second. In other words, terrorist groups...
I know.
Do you know of this incident?
I know about this.
Will you sack this?
I know about this. The fact is, these terrorist groups have issued a statement. This statement was issued by terrorist groups. It has been wrongly reported. I am privy to that news. I can tell you this. Any terrorist group can take a decision that they are...
But this is a BJP leader. A BJP leader quoted called Bhavadev Goswami from Jamuni Ghat in Sonitpur. This is a BJP leader who was quoted.
No.
Let there be an inquiry.
It has been denied.
Denied by whom?
This has been denied.
Commission to inquire.
This has been denied.
Political party, the Sangbijit group supported in
This has been denied by the BJP.
Who do we trust?
How do you trust the
I am
BJP
aware of
denied?
this incident. This has been denied by the BJP.
No, one second. You know, gentlemen.
Who should we trust?
You know, gentlemen. And Gaurav Gogoi, the reason I put out the pictures from Golaghat sometime back, you need to ask yourself a question.
Don't tell me about the media, please. Don't tell me about the independence of the media. Don't teach me all these things on journalism.
That's all right, Mr. Chari. You don't have to start abusing the media for that
against me, and I have denied it.
Mr. Chari, you don't have to find fault with the media now. My question is this: Samujjal Bhattacharya. On one side of the screen, I put pictures of.
I have denied this. My party has denied it.
One second, Mr.
I have more faith in my party than the media which has reported it.
Mr. Chari, I'm making an important point.
It is my party's views against the media's words.
Mr. Chari, it's not necessary that your party's views will be better or more informed than the media's words. You and I can debate that on another time, but I think we must go back to the situation in Assam. My question is, I have pictures, Mr. Chari, on the screen of August 13, 2014. When a heart bled in what happened in Golaghat. Thankfully, nobody died, but Gaurav Gogoi, when the police wants to act, your Assam government is very strong. Those were the pictures you and I quarreled about. I would say I fought with you on it, and rightly so. Because you allowed your police to shoot point blank upon innocent people in Golaghat. There are pictures there of children, school children running away from that point blank firing of the police. Samujjal Bhattacharya, my question is to you. When the Assam government, when it wants, can act so tough, and this happened one day.
Arnab.
Gaurav, please let me complete. Let me complete, Gaurav. This happened one day after your father, the chief minister, visited Golaghat and was snubbed and gerouted by the local people out there. So after the chief minister, locals take him on. What do the locals face? Point blank firing by the police personnel. I show the pictures once again. Samujjal Bhattacharya. If Samujjal Bhattacharya, my question to you is this, that if the state government can be so tough with the innocent people of Assam. No, Mr. Gogoi, listen to me. My question, listen to my question in the context of the pictures which I'm putting on the screen. Can I put the pictures on the screen again, please? Mr. Gaurav Gogoi, I have two pictures on the screen today. It is not just important for the people of Assam, but for the people of this entire country to see what is happening in Assam today. And I'm asking everyone, we can go back to our debates. We can imagine that in this country, the only thing that is important is the ordinance of insurance reform. In no other country would a region be ignored in the way the Northeast has been ignored. On the right-hand side, innocents are being fired, Samujjal Bhattacharya in August in Golaghat. On the left-hand side, Kokrajhar is now burning. There is violence which has broken out. My question to you is, Samujjal Bhattacharya, why does the state government not show the same muscle when it comes to dealing with terrorist groups? when you need to deal with terrorist groups.
Bodily harm the protesters.
When you-
and there must be an inquiry. So police must be taken into task.
Mr.
Just
Gogoi-
because people are protesting on the streets, then people
Mr.
do not
Gogoi,
go
you want to
up
be
on that.
tough?
Now, going back
Mr.
to
Gogoi, Mr.
Zarir's
Gogoi, you want to be
question,
tough? Be tough with the terrorists. Don't be tough with the people.
If Zarir referred to a question about whether the government of Assam is serious about combating insurgency, now let me give you, this government has a proven track record of since 1998 when it was the AGP government
You
in
want
power.
to-
From
let's
1998
put Zarir Hussain
till
back.
now, there's been a 70% decline in violence. But still, that still is absolutely no
Mr.
excuse
Zarir,
for
Mr.
what has
Gogoi, you are
happened
reading
last
from
night.
some papers
We need
in
to
your
do
hand.
more. But at the same time, I must say that the central government, the state government have been
No.
working in tandem to arrest
Okay, Zarir will respond to you. Zarir, I give you 2 minutes, 1 minute to respond, please.
Zarir. 400 terrorists.
Zarir can respond in a minute. I have to close this discussion quickly, but I am giving Zarir Hussain an opportunity to respond.
Out of 37
It's like,
different
let us
ethnic
forget about the
insurgent groups, there are
statistics.
12 who are
Let us
active.
forget about
So
the
the state
statistics.
government
Let
and
us
the
simply
previous central
take
government took
2014.
this issue
How
very
many
seriously.
massacres
And I'm
have taken
confident that
place?
this-
What has the state government done
Very
to
seriously.
prevent such recurrence of violence? So these are the moot questions. Let us not go by statistics, because statistics, like, in the ground reality, it doesn't mean or say anything to these people that your pictures they're showing on the screen. This doesn't mean anything to them. For them, it is it's a shelter, it's a house. So nobody is going to build them their house. They don't know where the next meal is coming from. They don't know where they are going to sleep. They don't know where the children are today. So there are innumerable instances today. But let us simply avoid talking about from a piece of paper the statistics. Statistics are like, mere, let us keep it to some academics to, like,
No, 1 second. No, this is not a college debate. No, 1 second. No, what? This is a serious issue.
Government done to stop such recurrences. Despite intelligence report, what has the state government done to prevent those, kills?
Absolutely nothing.
That the people of Assam wants to know.
My question is to Samujjal Bhattacharya, please. Samujjal Bhattacharya. Samujjal Bhattacharya.
Yeah.
Samujjal Bhattacharya, can we...
Tomorrow, if Jammu and Kashmir, there's a terrorist incident.
Okay, I'll respond.
The Chief Minister of
Can I respond to you, Gaurav? You're going on and on about some, some childish figures you're putting out.
Zarir Hussain wants the Chief Minister of Jharkhand to resign.
No, watch.
Assam Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi had the information.
Of course
but he had failed to prevent this violence. This is the fact. Assam Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi had the information, but he did nothing to prevent this violence. This is the fact. There is no existence of the Assam government here. And people are suffering. Innocent children, women, innocent people are killed. We are condemning the killing. But where is the government? Assam government, Tarun Gogoi had the information, but he did nothing to prevent this violence. This is the fact.
My question to you is, Samujjal Bhattacharya did... No, 1 second. Gaurav, please let me come in.
Did the Chief Minister not know that
No,
the
1
Chief
second.
Secretary is going on leave?
Has
the Chief Secretary gone on leave without telling the Chief Minister?
Today, Gaurav
He
Gogoi...
needs to be dismissed.
Today, Gaurav Gogoi...
the Chief Minister that I am going on leave.
Today,
This is
Gaurav
called
Gogoi
madness.
says... Sheshadri Chari, why do you want chief ministers to resign? There'll be a few people killed in Kashmir. Will you ask the chief minister of Kashmir to resign? I mean, for God's sake, have some sense of shame and accountability, Gaurav. This is not the first time that the failure of the state government has been shown in protecting civilians in the area. There was a series of terrorist intelligence inputs, warning of attacks by the same Bodo terrorist groups against migrants in Kokrajhar earlier this year, and yet in May, if your memory serves you right, shortly before the elections, 32 to 35 people were killed in a series of attacks in the Kokrajhar district. You think there's no reason hundreds of people can die and a politician can come on the program and say, Zarir, so what if a few people die? This is the basic argument of Gaurav Gogoi. So what if a few people die, he says. No, 1 second. You take that back, Gaurav. Gaurav, you take that back. You take that back, Gaurav. Gaurav Gogoi, you take that back. Gaurav Gogoi, you take that back and apologize for what you said. Gaurav Gogoi, how can you say, how can you be so indifferent?
I did not say that. I am sorry, I did not say that.
How can you be so indifferent?
Your interpretation. I did not say that.
How can you be so indifferent? How can you be so indifferent to say? A few people die. You expect the chief minister to resign?
I will withdraw my words. But
please withdraw your words.
I did not say this, so you must take back your...
That's an unfortunate reflection of how you think. Yes, please. Yes, please. Zarir, last word to you.
Can I ask you one
Arnab, can I
question,
just
Arnab?
come in for just
Arnab,
20
one
seconds?
question.
No, I think Gaurav, I cannot stand this
Arnab,
attitude anymore.
What we need is a national counter-terrorism strategy.
Yeah, but
We
don't
need a national
say ever.
counter-terrorism center.
Don't ever
Assam
say.
is not the only
Don't
state
ever
which is
say.
affected. Jammu, Kashmir, Jharkhand,
Gaurav.
Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, the left-wing extremist
Gaurav,
areas. We need
Gaurav,
a
for God's
national
sake,
counter-terrorism
when you
strategy.
say,
We
when you
need
say
the
think,
national
when you
counter-terrorism
speak,
center
think.
to come up.
When you speak,
we need
think.
the center and the state governments to work together.
Don't give lectures. Please think of the children who
I'm
were
not
killed.
giving lectures.
Don't give. Think of the
care
children
about
who
the
were
terrorism.
killed in
I
their
care
mother's
about the
arms.
loss of lives. I want to
Think
find
of
a
the
solution.
child who was
I
shot
want
in his
to
head.
Debate with
You're more
others.
interested in your
I want
father
to find
staying
a
in the chief
solution.
minister's
Let's
chair.
debate now.
You're more
Counter-terrorism.
interested in
How
Tarun
can we
Gogoi
reduce
remaining chief
the
minister.
loss of lives?
Zarir Hussain.
How can we reduce the loss of lives in Jammu Kashmir?
Let
How
there
can
be
we
some
reduce the
sense
loss
of moral
lives in Manipur?
responsibility among
Nagaland?
India's politicians
Like,
for once.
very
Zarir.
interestingly, the
counter-terrorism.
Deputy Speaker of the Assam Assembly, who is a Congress legislator who belongs to that area, has made this kind of a very silly remark, saying that this kind of things happens in Pakistan, this kind of things happen in Bangladesh. We have put that soundbite in our bulletins. So this is the state of affairs in the Congress, The Deputy Speaker of the Assam Assembly, Bhimananda Tati, who is a Congress legislator of Sonitpur district, he made a silly kind of a remark, shameless kind of a remark, saying that this kind of incidents take place in Pakistan, this kind of takes place in Bangladesh. So this is the Congress's attitude as far as dealing this kind of massacres. This will give you an idea as to what is happening.
Well, we all want a long-term solution, but the point is right now we demand a detailed investigation into the links between politicians and terrorist groups in the entire Northeast. Let there be a sustained investigation into the links between all terrorist groups and politicians in the Northeast. Let there be name and shame. Let there be name and shame. And let every political party promise that if
terrorists should be killed, that terrorists should be killed and not rewarded.
And 200 people cannot hold a state to ransom.
Well,
I hope it happens.
external links as well.
We will follow the story, and I thank you all very much for joining me on debate number 1 on the Newshour tonight.